Hello! Today I'm going to see if I can fit these late model Jag seats in my Mark II Jag. Let's see how I get on. Okay, so initial impressions are promising. We got the travel we need. We're a little bit tight on the steering wheel, so we're going to have a look and see if we can drop it down a little bit, I think. But all in all, not too bad. Okay, so hopefully we can see a bit clearer what's going on here. Obviously we're sat on the Crossmember, so it looks to me like that bracket just needs tweaking to meet it. At the back it's sat up quite high, so if that bracket was bent upwards it would drop the whole seat down, which is what we're after. And luckily the Crossmember is sloping the right way, so we can certainly go down enough, I think, to achieve what we're trying to achieve. The problem I can see is coming down the road is the old fixing bracket. Even if it doesn't foul now, it will do, especially if we do use the seatbelt attachment. By the time that is dropped down, even as it is, it's going to foul that bracket. So our first mission is to sympathetically remove that bracket so that it can be reinstated if the cars return to standard. Okay, so they're just spot welded on. There's just 4 spot welds, 1, 2, 3, 4 either side. So next job, drill them out. Let's get these brackets off. Okay, so we've got our seat brackets off, and now I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna fix the front of the seat to the Crossmember. I think for safety's sake we need to bolt it right through the Crossmember, especially if you're using the seat belts on them, because it's carrying your weight as well as the seat, if you see what I mean. It wouldn't be so bad if you were strapped down to the car, but in an accident the seat's going to be trying to pull out of the floor. So to be on the safe side, I think I'm going to bolt mine right through and out the other side of the Crossmember. So to that end I've got these coach bolts, which should work quite well. Also, you've got a nice thick fixing on here, which, with a little bit of opening out with the carbide bit, I think we'll really snug it in and it'll stop it going round and round, obviously when we're bolting it up on the other side, so almost made for it. So I think that's what I'm going to do next, is open up this hole here, so let that sit in there, and then we'll put it back in the car and mark up the cross member. So I've got the seat in the best compromise position that I'm happy with, and I'm ready to drill the hole through the cross member, and I come across another conundrum. If you were to drill from this side and just bashed it against the other side and went on through, you know, you might be within half an inch of being in line. So I thought, well, we can do better than that. But you've got this plane here is not square, this face, and this face isn't square with the cart, so this bolt needs to be 90 degrees to this, which is at an angle. So what I come up with, as luck would have it, your ordinary square just bottoms out before it hits the floor, so that the bottom projects the position you're after over to the other side, and then the measurement we're after to the center of the hole, which is 23mm on this one. I mean, the other one's slightly different, but so what I'm getting at is it's not 23mm down from this side, it's 23mm down from an angle that's leaning back. So by putting that there, you need to be measuring off the underside of this 23mm down, and that, as you'll see, brings you up a lot closer to the top of the cross member than that side. So I hope that explains it. Just something to watch, because you don't want the bolt in there either skewed or not lining up, because you want it to bolt up nice and square so it can do its job to the best of its ability. So I hope you can see that by taking the time to mark it out and drill from both sides, when you go to do the nut up, it's clamping and spreading the load on the crossmember, which is what we want, because it's all, the bolt is nice and square. If you just tried to attempt to drill that, I mean, you could hit that a million different ways, but there's only one that is in the right position. So same again on the other side. That'll fix the front positions, which then we can just use the seat itself will tell us where the holes to drill for the back are. So I went ahead and fixed the back fixings in. Turns out that the original car, the floor is not flat, so you do need to, well, I needed to pack this side up because otherwise it wasn't sitting square to the floor. So cracked on with that. These seats are out of an X300, sort of mid to late 90s vehicle, and the reason I'm showing you this now is because the next thing is to take the seat back out, tip it up, and I'm going to attempt to try and get the electrical height adjustment working. So we'll see how we get on with that. So before we start talking about the electrics on the seat, a word of caution. If your seat has headrest raised lower, recline backwards and forwards, and fore and aft controls, it's going to be controlled by a body control module, which is this fella here. It communicates to the body control module, and then that module gives those instructions to the motor. So if you start dapping 12 volts into this, it's just going to blow it up. So my advice would be, if you have got those seats and you want to get them to work, you're going to need the body seat control module, you know, and all the connectors and everything as a minimum, I would say. Luckily ours only go up and down, so it's a lot easier for a start. So what this one's got is a control supply, 12 volts, which runs through the up down switch on the seat itself, which pulls in either the raise or the lower relays, which are also on the seat itself, and they control the power supply through to the motor itself. And all it is depending on which relay is energized, reverses the direction of the current in the motor, and it changes direction, just exactly the same as your electric window motor. So one goes clockwise, the other one goes anti-clockwise, and it goes up and down accordingly. So the colours we're looking for, we got NG, which is brown with a green, NO, which is brown with an orange, and then the earth connections are supplied by a black. So let's go over to the car and see if we can pick them out. So here we are. I found all the cables I was looking for on the white plug. So you can see we've got the brown with a green, we've got the brown with an orange, which is the control wire, and the two blacks. Now when we're talking about the control wire, I think you can see that is considerably smaller than the power supply cable. So the point I'm trying to make is this is why they're separate feeds and they need separately fusing accordingly. So just even temporarily I've got the control wire fused down with the smallest fuse I can find. So when we do the full install, we'll have to choose our fuses carefully. So just to summarise, we've got a fuse 12 volt supply positive on here, a fuse 12 volt power on here, and our negative 12 volts on the two blacks. And all we got, we just connected up to my sort of universal box, which is nothing more complicated than being connected to a battery and being able just to switch 3 separately fused supplies. So I'm using 1 and 3, so with a bit of luck doesn't move far, but it does move, so mystery solved. Okay, get on with the back seat now. Okay, so that's what you get if you literally just sling it in. It actually don't fit too bad across the width. I was quite surprised. You can actually shut both doors no problem at all. The problem is the leg room behind the front seats, and also the fact that it's sat way too high. So instead of sitting down in the seat pan, it's sort of sat on it. So that's my first job, is to see how I can get this back more like that, so we've got some room to sit, and also down. So let me have a look at that and I'll see if we can improve that. Okay, we're in and looking very nice. I did have to chop a fair bit off the back of the base, that much all the way across to get it fully back, but that's okay. These seats were only heading to the scrapyard anyway, so we've saved them. And this one didn't have any seats, so result. So I just wanted to show you the original fixings. These black plates shows it's gone back to where it would have been on the car it came out of. And as you can see, it's literally planted on the bottom of the base now. It's just a case of just cutting the foam and chopping the bars out until it goes where it needs to go. Did have to cut about half an inch either side off the very corner of the framework for the back, but I have to say it fits like amazingly good across the back. It's just sat down lovely. So there you go. That's how you fit X300 seats in a Mark II Jag. Just one more point before I go. I think to make this a complete success, I will need to fit a smaller steering wheel. The other option you've got to gain a bit more space between the bottom of the standard wheel and your knees is to cut the crossmember and drop the seat down. But I'm more than happy to fit an aftermarket wheel and just give yourself a bit more breathing room. So just something to bear in mind. Okay, that'll do it for this one. Thanks ever so much for watching. So till next time, bye for now.